So we can speak now to the Ukraine Member of Parliament, Kira Rudik, live in Kyiv. Good morning, Ms. Rudik.
Good morning, Trevor, and thank you so much for having me.
What has been the reaction in Kyiv to the American proposals?
People are worried indeed, and it sounds really painful, right? When you're facing one of the hardest winters in your history, when we have electricity where I am for just a couple of hours a day, where our front line is in a very tough situation, and people fighting there also are requesting more and more support. And then one of our key allies basically is offering us to give up on our territories, forgive Russians for what they have done to us, and move forward without any security guarantees. People are concerned, this is true, and I think the United States do not realize how huge of an impact on the international relations this is. Like last time when President Trump and his team stopped intelligence and sending weapons to Ukraine just for a couple of days, we have already seen how people stopped trusting those nice men and women who are coming here and saying, hey, we are from the United States, we're here to help. And I think right now the whole Europe is watching and thinking about what does it mean to have the United States on your side, and is it a bad or a good thing?
What do you think happens if the Americans decide, as some people are suggesting, that Ukraine isn't going to play ball and they no longer want to be part of the whole situation and they essentially withdraw? What do you think is going to happen to Ukraine?
It will be very tough, but we hope that our partners in Europe will be able to cover for some of the weapons and intelligence that the United States are threatening to withdraw. However, Trevor, I hope that we will not get to that. I want to remind everyone that this is not the first time when Ukraine has received a draft of a deal that was unacceptable. The situation with the rare earth minerals deal was very similar when we were given a piece of paper that included something that Ukraine was simply not ready to give up. And then after a couple of rounds of negotiations, we ended up with the document that Ukraine was even able to ratify in the parliament. I voted for it. So it seems that we are going to this round one of negotiation where the American team will hear what does Ukraine have to say about this 28-point plan, and we will take it from there. I do not believe that President Trump will push towards his deadline. It is just not reasonable all in all. I think he wants to push for the negotiations to begin, and that would happen. But I want to underline that the position of our European allies is very critical here, both on the side of amount of weapons and intelligence they can be covering if the United States choose to walk away, and for standing strong with Ukraine on the other side of the table with the United States delegation.
I hear what you say, but there is a risk that President Trump might not be bluffing. Will you and your colleagues in Parliament advise Mr. Zelensky, when he speaks to Mr. Trump, to reject this deal?
He shouldn't be saying he's rejecting the deal, because we already learned this is not the way to deal with President Trump. He should be saying that we are ready to discuss point by point, specifically about the security guarantees that Ukraine is getting, and hopefully that we will come to the version of the document that will be acceptable for Ukraine. Look, there is no other nation that wants this war to be over, right? As our people that are being killed at the front line and in their homes every single night. And so we want the war to end, but not at any price. This is why we should get a very clear understanding what are the security guarantees that the United States are offering in this document, and if there are any, to explain what are the red lines for Ukraine there, and what are the things that we are ready to discuss. There are some good points there, for example, return of Ukrainian children or exchange of the prisoners of war. This is something that we have been pushing since the day one, and Russia never agreed. So we are getting to this super important moment: is how does President Trump actually push Russia to execute if he was not able to get them to a ceasefire?
If I may ask just very briefly, President Zelensky says that Ukraine may have to choose between its allies and its dignity. Is there a choice for you?
That was never a choice. We didn't choose to capitulate in 2022. We do not intend to do this right now. We are a free country, we are a free nation, and we will continue fighting.
Kira Ruddock, thank you so much for your time this morning.